Yeah. They're all working between each other. No, it will work. It's just I got it running again, but now the link is not the same link as 360 and then you have to send a quick email out. Yes. Mm-hmm. That is what I'm gonna have to do. I got it. My bad. I need your help, yeah.
What'd you say?
I, I really missed it. How this camera is on a different length camera.
The white thing, right?
No.
That's what I thought.
This thing.
Yeah, okay. And how do I,
Those your.
yeah. That's okay, I could just,
So first off, the laser pointer is the little thing on the back,
thank you.
which is somewhere there.
Yep.
And it's the one that says next slide, and there's also go back. So
Okay, great.
those would be the keys.
Thank you.
Do you want me to click on your slides now, or do you want to leave these up for a minute?
Just a minute, I can go switch it over.
All right, so you want to hang on to that up front, because I have no need of it.
Yeah.
You will want that.
Up front, yes.
And Roger asked if I would come back and do sound.
Really?
At least a sound check to make sure that we have
Okay.
it. For the
Okay.
music. I don't know about for you guys. I'll do it for you guys.
Okay. Okay, I thought we would have done that.
Huh?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought we would have done that.
That's what they did.
You know, I wasn't here earlier.
Anyway, can we send out another email with this link in it to
Okay.
the whole list
Okay.
easily? You already have email open down here, I
I have to go to the website.
Oh.
Verify that thing.
think.
But, Okay. And that's okay, no worries. Yeah, just exit out then. I'll get to the other. Hi, who's that? Hi.
Are we the first thing? Is there
Yeah.
something before us at all? Or?
No, we're having, sorry, we just lost the link to online.
So I'll just look for you
Do you
for
mind?
tourist stuff.
Yeah, do you mind if we
Oh, of course.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Just wanted to be sure when we're.
I'm like sending out a new post right now.
Keep an eye out.
Sorry. This is really easy.
Is anybody sitting here? You are. You're moving back instead of your seat was taken up there. Somebody's got seat sick. Oh, you can, I'm sure. I think that's for down this way. Make sure I'm on my way. Before you sit down and go there. There, yep.
I'm Gary. Very nice to meet you.
Going back and forth to their location.
You know, that's not to faze me at all.
Okay, good.
And when they're not calling, I'll just hop off and sit somewhere else and give you lost the minute. Check a little more light on them.
A little more light on the players? Yes.
There you go, there's more light on your players.
Magnificent.
Thanks, guys.
Am I gonna be in your way sitting here?
You will not. Here's my camera, so as long as you're seated, you will be fine.
Well, I will get my seat and stay complete. This is the IT crew back here, right?
We're trying, doing our best to pretend that we know what we're doing.
Oh, I do it all the time.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
All right, are we good?
Yep.
All right.
Are
Hi
you a
there. How
member
are
of
you?
the IT group?
No, he's the man. He's the man. All right, so we're good?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, you posted that thing.
Yeah.
You need to get out of the editing mode or something.
Oh, yeah, do you want me to get out of this?
What's that?
Looking to see if I saw Claude. Nope, I don't.
Okay. Is it still live? Okay. Right. Okay. Eventually, I should just get back to a shot of the stage.
Are we offline?
Somehow, I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Hmm?
We're doing okay. Okay.
Yeah, you're getting sound and everything? Okay. All right, good. Okay. Yeah, I messed it up. We're right on the verge of having everything. It's not going to work for that one. Well, the other camera is on a separate feed. You have to click on the link to see the camera. If you go back to the Peace Project website, there should be a posting there for
Not Mark,
different
Project.
projects. Should be okay.
I'll never turn that on.
Really?
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces down, find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I must get more help. Together we can change the world. Self-experience, let's go, you know we'll see, but let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. With our hands and with our hearts, we can dare to make a start. Together we can change the world. get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Change your mind and change your life. Set aside the fear inside. Together we can change the world. When we open up our eyes and we start to realize, together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Self-love, but it's been charted on our seats, so let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Self-less birds, they've charted on your sleeve, so let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Self-less birds, they've charted on your sleeve, so let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world.
Happy New Year. Isn't that great? I'm going to tell a little story. Before coming down here today, and actually for the last couple of days, I've been really kind of turning up a little anxiety about how I was going to handle this situation. I've been trying to think about what am I going to say, how am I going to do this. This morning I got a text from a friend that just said, don't worry, relax, totally relax, and just enjoy it. And what I realized when I got that message was that that's the message of what it is that we're doing here today. Meditation, totally relax, enjoy it, be in the joy of what it is that we experience when we're there. Prepare our hearts to send that out to the world that needs that more than anything on this planet at this time. That's what we're here to do, and I'm so glad you're all here to do it with us. That song, Together We Can Change the World, that, nothing describes better. That is what we're here to do. And we know that we can't do it alone. But when we meditate in a fairly private space. We create peace in our hearts when we meditate. So, why is this important? Why is what we're doing important? We are going to hear today about science that explains why what we do when we do that actually has an effect outside of ourselves in the world. That's what we're here to do. But even, I don't require that you actually believe that. And here's why. Because if you do what it is that we're asking you to do, what's going to be created for you is peace in your heart. And when there's peace in your heart, peace in the world is possible. So that's what we're here to do today. I'm glad you're all here. I'm so glad you're all here. Last thing, I said, I wish you a happy new year. I've got this, kind of concept for myself, something I've become more and more mindful of in the last couple of years. And that is that I don't get from one January 1st to another January 1st by leaping through a year. I get from one January 1st to the next January 1st by making my way through 365 days. And each of those 365 days, something that's been like an incredible blessing to me, is being mindful of the just bounty of blessings in each and every one of those 365 days. When I do this, when I do the work that we're here to talk about today, that just becomes so apparent. It becomes just totally manifest for me, right in front of me, how that happens. Today, it was the first day of 2015. My day actually started pretty early this morning. And it started early with something that I can only count as a blessing. And I'm talking really early. It happened about 3 o'clock this morning. And since then, that blessing has done more than that blessing could imagine to help prepare me for what it is that we're here to do today, what I'm here to do today. And my days when I really go into mindfulness and really practice this practice that we're talking about, it becomes very apparent to me that each and every one of these days of a 365-day year is full of those kind of blessings. And when I can tap into that, I can be the peace that we're looking to be in the world. I'm going to ask the band to come back up and sing another song, and we'll move on. And again, thank you all for being here. We got a lot more to come for you today, and come on, give the band a hand.
So a couple of songs got moved around that are in the program. Doesn't matter. As long as we know.
It's me, and I said that.
So you know the words.
In the dark. The green one?
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No loss, no hell to us. Above us only sky. There's no people. Imagine all the people today or today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. The things to kill or die for. And knowing it's just you. Imagine all the people living life in peace. They stay on free life. But I'm not the only one. Oh, someday you'll join us, and the world Imagine no possessions.
Imagine no possessions.
If I may.
I wonder if I can.
Need for greed or hunger.
No need for greed or hunger.
Brotherhood of man.
A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people
Sharing all the world.
sharing all the world.
Dear brotherhood.
You can stay and treat us, but I'm not the only one. I also pray for strong enough, and the world will be as one.
We are.
Little commercial assembly songs are ones that we use a lot on Sunday evening service. It's a lot. Music and meditation service. Music from various traditions and reflections from various traditions. Reverend Jim usually leads our meditation. Join us.
And then I live in absolute joy, happiness. And may we understand each other. Trust and perfection. We are now, we are now, we are
We are peace. You know, I'm up here right now to give a little bit of acknowledgement to a group of people who are in this room that have been really integral to making this event happen and all the other things that we're going to talk about the rest of the day that have happened during the course of this year. Yes. My name is Tim. Oh, hi, I'm Tim. And you know what? I'm part of the peace. I'm calling part of the peace team. I think it's really cool to be on the peace team. And you know what? Now that you're all here, you're all on the peace team too. And during the course of the year, the peace team has met quite a few times, and we've talked about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, where we can make a difference, what can we do. This is all about, in our minds, we know that what we're doing is preparing all year long to get to the point in January where we kick this thing off and we start doing something for the next 31 days that we believe is going to have a profound impact in our community. One of the side benefits of this, however, has been that throughout the course of the year and in the coming years, we see that there is this thing building around the idea of the Peace Project and what we accomplish when we get together and put our heads together around this idea. I found a quote today that I want to share from Pete Seeger. Actually, this is one of those things where the universe is just sending me all the stuff I need right now. Because I had no idea what I was going to say. Here it is. All I do is open up my eyes, open my ears, stop trying to plan, and let it come to me. It comes to me, right? So I see this thing this morning, the quote by Pete Seeger. The world would never amount to a hill of beans if people didn't use their imagination to think of the impossible. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, the idea that we putting our collective hearts together and with some kind of intention, sending some kind of signal out to the universe, and it would actually have an impact, people would say, we're insane. That's crazy. Do you really think that you can do that? And yet, in the last 10 years, there's been a body of evidence growing that's just amazing about the fact that this actually happens. This actually works. What we're talking about doing has a real effect, and it really works. And again, like I said, if it doesn't, it worked for us. It worked for us. We got what we came here for. I heard a story this morning. And it kind of describes, I think, what we're up against in this effort. There's a friend of mine who told me a story about a driver. A driver is driving down the highway. He's tuned into the radio, and on the radio, a special bulletin. It's an alert, and it's like with, just some urgency. People, beware out there. There's a driver out there going the wrong way on Interstate 87. And the guy looks out at the traffic that's coming towards him and says, only one? we're salmon. We're swimming upstream. We're going against conventional wisdom with some of the things that we're doing. But what I'm aware of, and I think, I'm probably preaching to the choir a lot here, but what I'm aware of is that there's a growing awareness that this is not insane. What we're swimming upstream against is what's insane. And that when we put our collective souls and hearts and minds and spirits together and do what it is that we're doing, we're actually, we're creating the world of sanity that we so desperately need. So, let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, I'm up here to acknowledge the peace team. Let's get on to that. Sitting over here, could the first 2 rows of people here just please stand up? Okay? These are people, everybody stand up. You're all on the peace team. Right? There are a couple people here, that I want to say special thanks to, and Bethany can hit me over the head later for picking on people, but, Bethany, of course, is one of them, but we'll get to that later. On the back of your program, actually, there's a list of people who have been kind of involved regularly during the course of the year in making this happen, but making a lot of other stuff happen that we'll talk about in a few minutes. Today, in particular, we've got the band. I'm not going to single people out, but the band. The band is awesome. Come on. Pretty quiet most of the time, but so much is happening, here today, and so much has been happening through the course of the year because of the efforts of Bryce Polano. This technology, we're pretty sure that this is streaming live on the internet. I should probably welcome those people to this process too. I think I said yes, they may not be here today. Hopefully, we're hoping. We'll find out later when we get calls, so that'd be awesome. And there's so many other people. And later we'll be meeting Jim Fuller, who will, he's opened up his church to us, and maybe he'd say, I will open up your church to you, but that's exactly, okay? So he's going to lead us in our first meditation today. We're really looking forward to that. Last thing, one of my favorite songs is Let There Be Peace on Earth and Let It Begin With Me. Right? And that's sort of what we're talking about. We got to do this. We got to do this. We do this collectively, and that has a different kind of effect. But I came up with this idea, and it's the new kind of mind mantra. It's be the me. Let it begin with me. So what I'm asking you all to do today is be the me. We're the peace team, we're the we, but we're all a bunch of me. Be the me. You join the we. They become part of the peace team to get this done. You ready for another song? Yeah.
So I'm Roger Mott. This is, what's your name? Pete Furlong. Sarah Buick and Mark Schupp. So this is an easy song for you to join us on. So the first phrase is the peace and light in all the world. Let peace enlighten all. Let peace enlighten all. Let
uniting all. Let peace enlighten all. Shanti Alleluia Shalom Assalam. 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 Live not just for our own, live not just for our own, live not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will light in all the world. Live not just for our own, live not just for our own, live not just for our own, but live for the day when peace will rise in all the world. Shanti Alleluia Shalom Assalam. Shanti Alleluia Shalom Assalam. Shanti Alleluia Shalom Assalam. Shanti Alleluia Enlighten all the world. Let peace enlighten all the world and set us free. Let peace enlighten all the world. Lord Almighty, let peace enlighten all the world. Mind us. Let peace enlighten all the world. Someone. Let peace enlighten all the world. Word all. Let peace enlighten all the world. Let peace enlighten all the world. Hallelujah. Let peace enlighten all the world. Let peace enlighten all the world. Let peace enlighten all the world. Disconnected. Let peace enlighten all New York State. Let peace enlighten all
peace, light in all let peace, light in all the world. Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom, Assalam. Shanti, Alleluia, Shalom,
Move around a little bit. You know, we talked about being the peace team, being part of the team. One of the really cool things that's happened this year is that a whole kind of emergence of community around the idea of the Albany Peace Project has begun to arise. And what we're going to do here today, right now, is talk to a couple of people who have been on the leading edge of some of the things that are starting to emerge as the Albany Peace Project moves from this thing that brings us all together in January and has us doing this meditation thing that goes out there and brings it into the community to have a year-long presence and impact on for furthering peace in our community and making our community a better place to live. These efforts are all, interesting as I look at them and talk to Bethany about what we're talking to and what we're doing. They all have begun to pop up in other places as research-based strategies to really have a positive effect on the community and things like learning and we know that this generates positive outcomes in all different areas of our life. So I'm going to ask Beth Suter, Chris Johnson, and Gail Jensen to come up and join me up here. And one at a time, we're going to hear a little bit about some of the things that we're doing in the community. And we're going to hear about that. So Chris, Beth, and Gail, come on up. Thing up and down the line of the microphone. What I'm going to do is just kind of keep this one at a time and get a little bit of a sense of my understanding, which is limited, of what it is that they're actually doing, and then ask them to spend a couple minutes to share what they're doing and what their experience with that is, where we're at, and where we're moving with this. First person I'm going to ask to talk is Gail Jensen. Gail is she's right in there, right in the middle of the thick of things, member of the Peace team. And meeting with us regularly, and she's a sweet spirit, and she's doing something that I'm going to ask her to talk about. I'm working with a very special population around use of meditation to bring peace. I'll turn it over to you. Okay? Go for it.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. It's so great to see you all, and to know that I'll be meditating with you for 31 days. It's really nice to look into your faces. Something wonderful happened to me 10 years ago. And then I was a BOCES teacher specializing in sex education of all things. And I finished that project and I was placed in the Washington County Jail. Woo! It was really quite an entry, but I got used to it. And within a few years, it did take a few years, I was allowed to teach inmates how to meditate. just to sit with them. I was allowed to have them in my classroom as long as I didn't close my eyes. They watched me. I was allowed to lead prisoners in meditation, and the room was always packed, and they loved it. And for so many of them, they said it was the first time that they felt peace ever. Their lives had been so hard from the time they were abused children, living in difficult situations and poverty. They'd been hurt and they'd hurt others, and they were so bad they had to be locked up. And my whole experience of working in the jail, I'm now back as a volunteer and I love it, was heartwarming, and I have a particularly warm feeling in my heart for people who are incarcerated. So I would like to ask you, as you do your meditations for peace every day, that you just think for a moment of maybe the jail that's in your county, because there is one, and the people who are there have done things that have hurt other people, certainly hurt themselves. They are very needy souls, and they would love to be here with us here today. They would love to be free enough to get on the internet and watch a meditation and join a group like this. In our heart, if we can encourage the prison and jail population to feel our warmth going out to them, I know it would make a difference, and I really appreciate you thinking of the local people who are incarcerated during this month of January. Thank you.
Listening to Gail, I'm mindful of what gives meditation to me when I'm meditating, and that is that sense of freedom. And I imagine the population that she's working with, who are incarcerated, they are locked up, they are not free in their bodies. When they have an opportunity to learn these skills and to meditate, they actually find the freedom that they aren't able to exercise locked up where they are for what it is that they find. I think that's an interesting thing. Thanks, yeah.
That's what they would always say as we would end our meditation. They would say, I felt so free, I forgot I was in jail. And you know, it's the same for me too, because we're all in our little prisons.
Yeah, and on the other side of that coin, we have another population that is charged with our protection, charged with going into very difficult situations and keeping us safe and keeping the world safe. There's been a lot of the press about some problems in that area, in our perception of law enforcement as an agency that keeps us safe. But the bottom line is, my awareness and what I was brought up to believe and what I was actually, privileged, I think, through the course of my life to experience more than not, is that, law enforcement is there for the primary purpose to keep us safe, and they have a very, very difficult job to do. I'm going to ask Chris Johnson to talk a moment about an initiative that is gaining some momentum, and we hope will get traction and actually be implemented here with the Albany City Police Department. And it's very exciting to hear about what they are contemplating doing based on their experience with us. So, Chris, if you would, thanks.
In the wake of Ferguson, Berkeley, Staten Island, Cleveland, and recently Brooklyn, there has been a huge disconnect between various populations of society and local law enforcement. Just recently, I attended a town hall meeting where a friend of mine facilitated, Richard Smith, facilitated a town hall meeting between what has been the history of local law enforcement here in Albany and men of color, particularly African and Latino men. After that town hall meeting, I had a chance to pull aside Deputy Police Chief Brendan Cox, because I wanted to ask him some things away from the public because it was an emotionally charged environment. And we came to a consensus that there were some issues that local law enforcement was addressing that doesn't get discussed that could impact how they handle our public safety. So I was able to contact Ms. Gagne to where we basically had an initial meeting with local law enforcement about implementing a meditation curriculum, I guess we'd say. And it was good to hear that not only Cox, but Chief Prokoff were both on board and resonate with it. Chief Prokoff, if you don't know, is very concerned about the health and wellness of his officers, and he felt like meditation would be a very good first step in the healing of officers. And what we're also implementing is the possibility of having a room where officers can actually go and center themselves before and after their shift. If you can imagine the amount of stress that goes on in having to make decisions in split-second timing, having to live with the ramifications of those decisions is not easy. So what we decided to do was to give them a space, or what I would call a sacred space, to where you don't come in with a badge or whatever, you basically come in as a human being. And so we hope with this project we can help officers reconnect with their humanity, as well as help them feel a part of the community as opposed to being apart from it. Thank you.
Be careful out there. It takes a little bit more than an emotional. Just be careful out there to get this done. And that's what's happening here. That's so cool. All right, and now I have Beth Suter. And Beth is going to talk about some very exciting things that are beginning to happen in the Albany City Schools. There is, I mean, if there's one thing, I think probably some of the posts that have gone out that Bethany sent out related to what it is that we're doing. The kind of one of the most rigorous bodies of research currently is around the effectiveness of using mindfulness practices and meditation in schools to improve learning outcomes and behavioral outcomes for kids in schools. There are cities that are, we think we have problems, and they're doing this, and the outcomes are pretty amazing. Locally, we have private schools. We're about to have a public school, engage in this practice. I'm going to have to talk a little bit about how that's coming about. Thank you. Thanks. Beth Suter.
Just like you, I saw a quote this morning on Facebook. The Dalai Lama, to paraphrase, said that if every 8-year-old were to learn meditation, there would be no more violence in the world. No need for jails or police department, as you know. Children in violence, schools. How about math anxiety? What about meditating before math test? Those children that are dealing with issues that don't come into the school system with the kinds of tools that they need to quiet their nervous system down. What if we could provide meditation and mindfulness programs to them? There are over a dozen states and 90 programs that are putting meditation, mindfulness, coherence practices, sometimes even yoga. The etiology of how this came about was after Unity Church, I went to a coherence workshop that Bethany did and saw the statistics on the effectiveness of mindfulness practices in school. And NBC News just did a story on San Francisco. And I wanted to acknowledge some of the people that came up and talked after church. They're all educators. So I'm grateful that they're helping. As a neuroanthropologist, I'm not really sure about how they So Cindy Clow and Cindy Morehouse are helping. Dahlia Harris, other people in the group, Esther Jackson. And we have a green light to come up with a proposal to working with education leaders in the different elementary schools, and a go-ahead from the superintendent to come up with a program that will start in elementary schools, perhaps middle schools, and we'll be able to track that and see if meditation mindfulness practice will help with disruptive behavior and increase academic performance.
Awesome. You know, I'm going to overuse this word, but that's cool. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's happening that's just really cool coming out of this whole effort. There's one other group that we've had a fairly significant amount of contact with, and it's just kind of an anecdotal little story. No one was able to be here to represent here today to represent them. This is A Village down in the south end of Albany, and Bethany has been making a point of showing up there, and as part of her participation with that group in their weekly meetings, she has done some meditation with them. And there was a period of time, I guess, recently where she didn't get there for a little while, and she came in maybe a month and a half had passed. And when she came in, she reports that their faces just lit up. They said, "We're going to meditate today!" Or they were so excited. And of course, her response was, "You mean you haven't been meditating all along?" You know, progress, not perfection. We just have to working on it. You know, we got to teach them to fish so that they will do this. And you know, we're encouraged. If they're excited about seeing it come in and being facilitated for them, they will gradually develop the skills and the will to begin to facilitate it for themselves. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're all about. So with that, I think it is time for another song. Or two? What are we doing this time? What are we saying?
We're going to do this song right now. So this is some that he here wrote. Love that. What's it called, bro? It's only right now. It's only ... right now.
Just if you want to have the words to that song.
Yeah, one thing meditation does for me is let me let go a lot more, both when I'm doing it and the days that I do it afterwards. So the song is about letting go of all those things I think I am.
You can clap now. It'll be okay. Everybody's going to be clapping.
Nope, definitely. I've just been struck all afternoon long by just how perfect these songs are. They lead me right where I need to go. They're leading us all right where we need to go. We're being perfectly honest about it. I'm about to introduce Bethany Young. Now, I can say, here's Bethany Young. It's kind of, we all kind of know Bethany Young. And I think there's probably a lot more about Bethany Young to know than we all know. But what we do know is her passion. Her passion for this work, her passion for the people that we're serving by doing this work. Here's one of the things I'm most gratified about. And I'll tell you a little story related to it real quick. I want to tell you about the time that I met Bethany Young. All right. I was going to this series of kind of cool, health-related, metaphysical workshops over in Glenville, New York. And they happened once a month on a Thursday, and Bethany was scheduled to come in and talk about biofeedback. I think what was it? February, November, sometime in there. It wasn't bad weather, it wasn't anything. But a friend and I went to this workshop, and we showed up, and Bethany showed up with her 2 daughters, and we're the only ones that showed up. I've had kind of a sense of Bethany since then, because she's got this little kind of streak of paranoia that nobody's going to show up. Nobody's going to show up. Nobody's going to show up. The point for me about that story is that that was one of probably the most beneficial things that's happened to me, is that nobody else showed up, because for about a half an hour, we got to talk about what she's doing with this, and not what she's doing with biofeedback. Which, that was interesting too, and I wanted to find out more about that. But it started a connection that has been really important to me. And, I think it was one of those things that the universe just did what it had to do for me that day in order to connect me to someone who is doing work that allowed me to slide in and just do what I do, which is usually just joke around a lot, but allow me to do what I do because it connected to a passion in me. When you guys hear Bethany, you will hear the passion in her. There's just no avoiding it. There just isn't any avoiding it. With that, the part of that story that was really most important was I'm looking at this full room, and I'm really grateful you showed up. Put Bethany back together. So I'm really glad you're here. all about. That's what we're here for. All right, that's the John here.
Thank you. I had a moment about this just came in 5 minutes ago. This is totally not scheduled at all what I was going to say, but I left a minute and I thought about me in my 20s at Unity Church. And I left Syracuse University and I came back here and I looked up Unity Church. Thank you. I looked up Unity Church in the thing and I showed up in Madison Ave. And I was the only 20-something there. And I pretty much was for all my 20s. And I would go and hang out with older people. And I did it every Sunday because I felt the strength of this congregation and I felt the strength of this work. And so I just had this moment of feeling like, why aren't there any other 20-somethings here, right? And now realizing that I'm the 40-something crowd. And I got lots of people here my age. And I got a lot of friends in here. And I'm sharing all this good stuff with all my peers. And it's so exciting. So thank you very much for being here. But now my real opener is supposed to be this. If I could speak for the people of Albany, and if I could possibly speak for the children, I just want to heartily thank you for your presence here today. I believe that this work needs to be done, and it will not be done by any experts. It will be done by people like you and me, and all of us being willing to be accounted for and measured in our meditation efforts. And so I am just so grateful that you're here today. I often say this is research that needs to be done by the people for the people. Okay? So we can't be waiting for anyone to do this. Okay? It's time for us to step up, and that is why I'm so grateful for your presence here today. And I'm hoping that I'm going to share with you some information that is just going to get you jazzed. It's just going to make you just get the whole big picture. Because, I worked in biofeedback for 20 years, and what always amazed me when I learned anatomy and physiology was that in our textbook you would learn about the muscular system and the digestive system and the hormonal system, and they all had separate chapters. But then there was this central nervous system that kind of connected it all. And I've often thought to myself, well, doesn't that make sense? Well, maybe the intelligent design that created us to have all these little systems that work under an umbrella of another system, like why would that intelligent design end with the individual, right? Like maybe we're all little multi-systems in a larger nervous system. And to me that actually makes more sense than that we're separate, because why would the intelligent design stop with the individual? So I've always been fascinated with the nervous system, and I've always I've always had this dream that what if God had said this to me when I was born, and that is, God had said to me, hey, just thought you might like to know that I made you this body, and this body has a nervous system. And if you don't know how the nervous system works, life can be really challenging and really struggling. But if you do know how you're hardwired, then you're able to handle all the challenges that come in life and be able to rebalance yourself relatively quickly and still be resourceful to yourself and others. So I've always thought, geez, wouldn't that have been a nice conversation for me to have with God? And I haven't seen God pick up the conversation yet with people. So I kind of feel like the Albany Peace Project is really that. It's about teaching people about how we're hardwired, how there's this beautiful place within us known as coherence. We can get there when we're trained on a regular basis, and when we do, all these good things happen. So that's what I want to share with you a little bit today. So briefly, I'm going to share with you about coherence. Then we're going to move into just 2 studies on why there's research that shows that this could possibly work. And then very quickly at the end, we're going to talk about the schools. I mean, thank you, Beth, so much. That's in what was so beautiful about these people that came up. What I'm hoping you're getting from is that they're actually going out into the community and bringing this out. And so, I was so grateful that Beth basically, I dropped it at the lecture. I said, I really want to get this into Albany Public Schools. And Beth Studer totally, we got a whole committee going, and all because Beth Studer heard that. And she said, hey, I have resources, I know people. And that's how this is spreading, okay? And that's how beautiful it is. All right, so let me just go into this a little bit. Last year, you all just totally got my heart last year on the warmness and how much people really gravitated to this. So I was thinking about later, I said, how can I make next year better? What can I do next year that will make it even better for everybody? And again, I kind of decided I wanted a little bit more education, about teaching people about your nervous system so you can get there quickly, easily. Anyone here ever tried to meditate and find yourself more agitated? Okay. All right, yeah. See, that's what, yeah, exactly. But when you understand certain things, you're able to bring yourself down more. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. And so what I did was, the Institute of Heart Math, I had been out there in my 20s, and they were always in my heart as well. And it just struck me, why don't I call them up and see if we can kind of collaborate? So I called up the Institute of Heart Math, which is an internationally recognized nonprofit research and education organization. They're known for this body of research known as heart rate variability. And I said to them, hey, guess what? We have this great group of meditators in Albany, New York. And I'm wondering if it's possible that we could, maybe you could let us use some of your protocols, and we'd be able to use that and incorporate that in the 2015 thing. And, they're amazing. I've had wonderful experiences with them, and they were very supportive. They're kind of watching us. They're kind of encouraged by us. They're kind of hoping that they want to see what's going to happen. So a lot of their research supports this. And what they did was they offered us to use something called the heart lock-in. Now, many of us have done this before. Essentially, it's just focusing your own heart. We'll talk about it in a minute. But it's focusing in your heart, but reaching for a better feeling. Okay, that's the difference. So they told us that we could use the heart lock-in, which just demonstrates to people that we're not just saying airy-fairy stuff. There's this place in your nervous system you can reach regularly. So the name, I often call coherence kind of that sweet spot in your nervous system. If you ever play tennis, right? Anyone ever play tennis and you swing the racket and the ball hits the sweet spot in the racket, right? Y'all feel that, right? It's that ping, right? And it goes forth with such grace and elegance. That's coherence. Okay, that's the place within you that when you're in a more coherent place, that's what happens. And so I have to call it your sweet spot. Now that's not what I thought. The hallmark for coherence is something known as heart rate variability, and we're going into that right now. Now, if we look up here, if you see what these are heartbeats. And I don't know about you, but when I was young, it was kind of explained that your heart was a ticker, kind of like a ticker, kind of like a metronome, and it beat, something regularly. At least that was my understanding. But what science has shown is the fact that actually your heart is very variable in how it beats. And so it's something called heart rate variability. And when we're born and when we're younger, our hearts are much more variable. Okay. And the reason why this is interesting is because your heart is puts out the biggest electromagnetic signal on your entire body. So when this signal gets skewed, then everything else gets skewed, all right? So when we're young, it's actually highly variable between beats. I'm just going to show you here. This is heart rate variability up here. Here's a beat, and here's the distance between the beat, 0.859 seconds, okay? Here's a beat, and then the distance between is 0.793 seconds, and then here's 1.726 seconds. So do you see how the distance, the time between each beat is different? Okay? In this space between beats is actually where the information is encoded. Okay? In this space in between the beats puts off this whole signal to the rest of your nervous system. And it's obviously a very robust signal. The heart signal is 60 times greater than the amplitude of the brain waves. So it actually influences your brain waves. Okay, so now when it's very variable and the time between beats is different, then your heart dances. That's the word I like to use. Your heart dances. Okay, it's free, it's flexible. That's why kids, they recover so quickly because their hearts are kind of flexible, right? They're able to kind of the end of the world 1 minute and the next minute they're completely joking around and forgetting and playing with friends, right? So they're very variable. And as we go through the aging process, some of this starts to become more static. And just through the aging process, the time between beats starts to become a little bit more regular, But what can happen is, during times of great stress or great trauma, the heart goes into a lockdown, okay? And it starts to become very rigid between the beats. And what happens is, that puts off the signal to the rest of your body, and it puts the body into what I call lockdown. Okay, it's why depression and heart disease go so close together. Okay, when the heart starts to lock down, the body goes into economy mode, and depression ensues. Okay, so what happens is when we start freeing our hearts, then all good things happen. And I often say that when you free your heart, you become happy for no good reason. Okay? Like you live because your heart just starts to get released and it starts dancing. Okay? And so, so what we're going to be doing in the meditations this year is there's going to be 5 minutes where we're just focusing on the heart. But we're focusing the heart but then taking a moment and reaching for a better feeling. The feelings that they talk about in HeartMath is care, appreciation, and love. So you're reaching for those better feelings. Now I understand that when we're working with law enforcement, the words are integrity, courage, and valor. Okay? But can't you feel the strength of those words, right? You just need to say, yeah, right? Can't you feel that? Wonderful, isn't it? And so that's what we're going to be doing. And in these meditations, every day there will be a 5-minute lock-in where you'll be reaching for a better thought and opening that up. We're also using light a lot because light, I've yet to see a meditation, if you add light to any meditation, it only enhances it. All of the religions talk about how we're the light of the world, and we actually emit light. So we'll be using light a lot as well. So what does coherence mean to me as far as my everyday life? On the left there, you'll see it talks about being incoherent versus being coherent. If we're incoherent, you're in the monkey mind, where your mind jumps from one thing to another. You could have mood swings up one minute, down the next, and then or think limiting, depressive thoughts. Now, when we're coherent, what happens is we have more ordered mental processing, more ordered emotional processing, something called cortical resonance, where you're able to think more creatively. Okay, this is why cortical resonance is why kids need this in school, because you can't access those higher brain functions if you're in fight or flight. Okay. Another thing, there's a major hormonal balance in the body between DHEA and cortisol, and we all know cortisol, right? That's a stress fight or flight response. And now DHEA is also a hormone that they often call the anti-aging hormone. And so there's this kind of balance between the two, and they did one study that was in the Journal of Integrative Physiological and Behavior Science that showed that when people practice the very thing they're going to be doing for a month, and these people did it for a month, there was a 23% reduction in cortisol and a 100% increase in DHEA, the anti-aging hormone. Now DHEA plummets before major diseases. Okay, and so it's so important for us to kind of keep our DHEA levels up as much as we can. It's just a wonderful rejuvenating hormone. So again, we're not just playing here. Okay, there's really some science as far as what we're doing, and I'm going to take it out even more to really encourage you to participate. Now we're going to start getting into the greater science as far as why I think this is possible. Right? Am I crazy enough to do this? I worked in biofeedback for 20 years, and the idea, what I would see with biofeedback instruments is that whenever we took the mind in the body, there would be an impact. So, for instance, I'll just hook people to thermometer things, and I put temp measures on them. And so, when they pointed their mind into their hands, blood flow would go into their hands, right? If I have you point your mind in your heart's going to change. If wherever your mind lands in the body, there's an impact. Okay? Now, it seems to be that the reason, again, why does that end at the individual? I mean, maybe we're influencing the whole. So this is a study that this is one of the studies that I read almost 20 years ago and couldn't understand why it wasn't shouted from the rooftops. Okay? And this was done in Washington, D.C. And let me just, this was done by the Transcendental Meditation Organization. So it was during the summer of 1993. And what they had a prediction that they would have some trained transcendental meditators come to Washington, D.C., and they had a prediction that violent crime would be reduced by 22%. All right? Now, what they did was they started here. It actually was over an 8-week run, and more people got there as the time went on. So this is the number of people, the group size of people actually meditating. So you see, over this 8 weeks, the number of people increased. Okay? And eventually there was up to 4,000 people, and because in the end they were having a big seminar and a big conference. Okay, so by the end they hit to 4,000. Now here's the interesting line, because this is violent crime, and this is the percent drop in violent crime. Now if you look here, this is when, okay, so this is, as we go along here, no, I'm writing it wrong. Okay, there we go. As we go down here and the number of meditators increases, look at the percent drop in crime. That's actually an increase. So instead, remember I told you they predicted a 22% reduction in crime? they were actually wrong. It was 23% reduction in crime. So the Transcendental Meditation Organization predicted that when these certain amount of meditators got to Washington, D.C., that their crime would decrease. Okay? And in the end, they were pretty much accurate as far as what they saw. There was a 23% decrease in environmental crime. So look at that. I mean, it's, the reason why I choose this study is because of this beautiful graph. Number of people go up, the percent drop in crime goes down. See that? I mean, it's that elegant. It's that straightforward. And you know, Dr. John, the original professor who was, you know, supposed to be with us last year, he said these results are off the charts. Okay? The chance of this happening is less than 2 in 1 billion that this could have happened by chance. All right? So this is what keeps me going. Plus the biofeedback, knowing that the mind has impact, it just kind of keeps me going on this. And not only that, but this is what I also would look at is why is it that this is that study doesn't just stand alone? Okay. Look at these other peer-reviewed journals that this research has been written in. Journal of Conflict Resolution, Journal of Mind Behavior, Psychological Reports, Journal of Offender Rehabilitation, Psychology, Crime and Law, Journal of Social Behavior and Personality, Journal of Crime and Justice. This is not New Age Weekly, okay? like these all these studies, and they're all done by the Transcendental Meditation Organization, and there's plenty more, have made it through the rigorous peer review process to be in these established journals. And I kept asking myself, why? Why is this not shouted from the rooftop? All we need to do is meditate? Are you serious? Like, why isn't this, you know? And I couldn't get it. And it's why I'm still here. I still don't get it. You know, this is why we're doing this, right? So anyways, but really get this, that you know, and now the one reason, there's a couple reasons why I think why this isn't more well known. First of all, is one is by the TM organization. For some people, it's a wonderful organization, has done major research, things like that. It's a little esoteric for some people. It has people do mantras. A lot of people kind of emotionally are not really ready to go in that direction or to say a word that they don't even know what it means, kind of thing. It's also prohibited. It costs I was told recently it would cost about $2,000 to get their basic. So it may be wonderful. I took it right out of grad school, so I know basics of it. But you know, it's this idea that you know, like they're doing wonderful science and there's good stuff going on there. It's just, is it really accessible for everyday people, right? All in Peace Project, we're trying to make this really accessible, really get people to get this, because it needs to get out of these journals and out into the news. Okay, this all needs to just kind of move along. And in science, things need to be replicated and duplicated. So until we duplicate it as an independent organization, it won't be taken seriously. So now, what's also added to this was Lynette Taggart's work, and I'm going to talk about a study that she did. Now, the TM organization, my understanding, my basic understanding, is it's more internally focused, right? You're kind of working in an internal space within yourself to get coherence. And the theory is that when you become coherent, then you're going to kind of send out calming waves to the field, and that's why everything calms. So what Lynette Taggart did, who was a woman who wrote the book The Intention Experiment, what she did was she was studying the state of intention. Okay? This idea of your mind kind of going out of your body and influencing things. Now, when I went into the book The Intention Experiment, I was so happy because, again, in my 20s, I'm paying way too much money to buy a journal with one little intention research article on it. But when she came out with the book The Intention Experiment, I think in 2008 or 2006, and I suggest you also read it to help encourage your belief in this work. But basically what she did was collected as much research as she could on intention and put it into this book. And then she has these live intentional research studies, just the way we're doing here online in the globe. And she's done some amazing work. So with Lynn's work, it's this idea that we're sending intention outside of the body, not just kind of staying within ourselves. So what she did is one of the studies, she started out with leaves and seeds, and would have people send intentions to these leaves and seeds, and sure enough, the seeds would yield more plants, and the plants would grow taller. You know, so the audiences would send intention to these plants, and there would be a result. So I always say, people have often heard me say this, is the fact that you will have a better result praying for your plants than praying for your spouse. Okay? And the reason for that is because the plant doesn't argue with you. Okay? The I'd love to grow taller, but I really can't because, my dad built it and my mom had spots, and this is an impossible way. Right? A plant's never going to do that. A plant's going to say, oh, you want me to be more who and what I am? All right. Okay? So that's what you also remember when you sit there going, gosh, does this not work? Remember that the plant data is much more straight. The reading is much more straight. Okay? So intention has an impact. The mind has an impact. With people, it gets a little fuzzier. So what Libby Taggart again started with those simple biological systems, and then she moved up into a global thing. And this is an amazing, amazing thing. 9/11, the 10-year anniversary of 9/11 was coming up, and she wanted to create a research study that would somehow split the energy on 9/11. And what she did was she asked for the Deepak Chopra of the East, Dr. Salah al-Rashid, I believe is his name, and she asked him to come sit with her online, and they did this mutual forgiveness ceremony. Where Lynn asked, so Dr. Rashid asked for forgiveness from the West for 9/11, and Lynn asked for forgiveness from the East for oversized military involvement. So they did this gorgeous forgiveness ceremony, and for 8 days, people all around the globe sent peaceful intentions to the city of, the southwest corner of Afghanistan. Okay? Very specific place where a lot of the fighting was happening. And she chose Afghanistan because she felt as though both the East and the West could agree that they wanted peace in that area. Okay? So participants from 75 countries participated, from Iceland to Brazil, California to Indonesia. Most of the Western countries were represented, but every Arab country in the planet sent peaceful intentions to reduce violence in Afghanistan. From 9/11 to 9/11, again, it's 15 minutes today, sorry, and they're in the southwest corner of Afghanistan. So, you want to see the results? According to NATO, it was the longest sustained downward trend in enemy-initiated attacks since the war began 10 years ago. There's now this is just comparing for the 1 month to the last, but from the month of 2011, when it happened in September, was the peace experience. There was a 790% decrease in attacks. October, it went down by 500%. November, it went down by 400%. Now, this is pretty common in this research. It's not, we're not just going to look at January, we're going to look at February, March, and April. Okay? So she's also done a few others in Sri Lanka that had some interesting results. But here's the thing, we need more of this research. And Albany has an opportunity to become a leader in this. We can inspire other cities to organize and do this. So that's why your participation here is so important. It's so important. We can't do this without you. We can't. So moving into some of the school data, this was just on Channel 6 a couple days ago. Anyone hear this about meditation in the toughest schools in San Francisco? Right? Anyone? Yeah, how many people saw it? Right? We posted on Facebook. Right. This is amazing. This was a city that in 2003 there were 41 murders in this one particular area. So in the school system, there were 41 murders. So if you think about that, everybody in the school either knew somebody who pulled the trigger, knew somebody who was shot, or knew somebody who was severely hurt by somebody who was shot. So these kids are going to school, looking over their shoulders, trying to get, and then we're asking them to do math, right? And the problem is they're in fight or flight. So when we're in fight or flight, the front part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, is cut off. It's hiding. We literally don't have access to our higher thinking centers when we're in fight or flight. Okay? So these are kids under high stress, and we can't expect kids to learn unless they've centered and gotten calm and rewired themselves. So anyways, so this is what happened. Incidentally, this was supported by the TM organization. What they found is that the truancy rate was reduced by more than half to 7%, while the state's truancy climbed to 30%. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what they did. What they did was, and this is easy, all they did was these kids go into a room, they hit a bell, and these kids sit for 15 minutes twice a day. That's all they do. How much money does that cost? Like nothing, right? Hit the bell, kids sit quietly for 15 minutes, and then these amazing things would happen. So the truancy rate was reduced by more than half to 7%, while the state's truancy rate climbed to 30%. Suspicions rates were equal to the state's at 13%, but now the rate has dropped to 6%, half of that of the state. Now there's more on this, but that's kind of what I just pulled up their latest movie, or their latest video. If you want to Google this, you will find that. Now, this is also what they've done in Chicago. This is something called the Calm Classroom. And if you look at what they do in Chicago is what we call the 3 and 3, where about 4 times a day, kids are called to center. And so they do it either through focusing, through breathing, through stretching. They even do this thing called music journaling. I think where they play music and the kids just kind of doodle, right? To just kind of help them calm. And what happens is, and this is just one of the many schools, but I will tell you that if this was a drug, you'd want your kid on it. Okay? That's how robust this is. Okay? 46, like for instance, what drug gets a 46% decrease in, a decrease? Like what drug gets a 46% decrease in anything? 46% decrease in code of conduct infractions, 75% reduction in students fighting without injury, 66% reduction in students aiding or abetting in battery, 75% reduction in fighting with injury. The school was taken off academic probation after 1 year with a 25.1% increase in the percentage of students that met and exceeded ISAT goals. And I got to tell you, this report, just Google Calm Classroom, it's about 8 pages long. This is just one of the many elementary schools. Okay? There was one where, basically, it's all about 50%. Some of them are in the 90%, Basically, all the bad behavior goes down, and all grades go up. Like, it's that simple, okay? The Dalai Lama was supposed to say, and Beth had mentioned it earlier, if every 8-year-old in the world is taught meditation, we will eliminate violence from the world within 1 generation. And if kids really were taught how to self-soothe, because all of the addictive behaviors, all of the substance abuse, all of that is getting people to self-soothe. And if people know how to take care of themselves, how to find these places within, then they don't need to act out, and they'll be able to sit and listen in class, and they won't end up in the jails. It's really, it's not rocket science. To me, it's been so self-evident for so long, and I'm so grateful that more people are starting to see it, and people like Beth and Chris stepping up, going out into the community and saying, hey, come on, this makes a lot of sense. Now there's so much data that we are negligent if we're not bringing it out there. We're not implementing it, okay? And it's cost pennies on the dollar. This stuff is so cost effective. So what I'd like to do right now is introduce you to Karen, Dr. Karen Reinhold, where she very relieved to see that she came in early. Okay, good. As you know, many of you, last year there was Dr. John Foley, and he was working with us. Unfortunately, he had passed in the spring, and everyone told me about this woman, Karen, and I finally contacted her, and she has been such a blessing to this work, and her heart is just so sweet, and I just want to invite her up here. Karen's
I am so happy to be involved with this project because it gives me the opportunity to bring together my two passions, my love for mathematics and my love for spirituality. So, as Bethany said, we want to replicate the results that have been already shown by the TN group. So the research that they have done over the years, it may not be palatable to the broad community. So what we want to do is replicate the studies. We are not going to follow exactly their protocol. We have our own different protocol. I think they were getting together, everybody meditating in the same room at the same time. So we are going to do it the best way we can. So we do ask you to choose within 3 times, in the morning, and noon, or at night, so that we get closer to meditate together. But I think even if you cannot do those times, any time that you do it, it would be great. But the idea is that we need to bring a good group of people. Right? There is power in numbers. So I am so happy to see all of you here, and I want to encourage you to spread the word. Invite your friends, invite your colleagues, invite anybody that you are friends with or running through the street. Because what we want to do is show that we are having an effect. This chart that you saw before from the DM group, we want to show that that's not a fluke, that's not something that just happened by chance. So the study that we're engaging is going to be a 10-year study, so that we would like to show consistently that this happens every time that we get together and meditate together. Yeah. Because as I said, it could be that you just got lucky every year, but if we will show it year after year, and if we can even show that there is an increase, because each year we have more people doing this, or maybe there is an accumulation of an effect, then the research is going to be quite powerful. So I'm really, really thankful that you're all here today. And I really encourage you to click every day that you meditate. Because, it's that many people, I've been talking to some people who say, well, but isn't just enough that I meditate? And yeah, sure, it probably is enough, but I cannot measure it. And if I cannot measure it, we cannot show what we're doing to the rest of the world. So it is actually very, very important that you go to the website and click. So, well, anyway, I don't want to make this very, very long. I am here to give a very big thanks from my heart. I am so tickled that you are helping us with this research. It is an important research. I'm really excited about being able to show to the world that yes, Albany is having an effect on life.
Karen, can you tell people where you're from and why you're personally interested in this? Or can you talk about that?
I always forget to talk about me. So I am from Argentina. I came to this country 26 plus years ago. And, but I still, I'm one of those persons that is split. I have my love here and I have my love over there. And Argentina has gone through a lot of trouble over the years. Things have, unfortunately, deteriorated socially. There is a lot of crime right now. There's a lot of corruption. So when I was talking to Bethany, I said, I would love to bring this work to Argentina and repeat this study over there and see if we can bring the violence down. Most of the violence are robberies because when you have economical trouble, then people feel more entitled about robbing other people. So I would love to see that goes down and help the people with their situation and with their heart, because a lot of people over there are desperate with the situation and a judicial system that is failing. So bringing this work over there will have an impact, not only in people's lives, but I also hope that it will change the justice system and the political system. The other thing that I think is, wouldn't it be great if we all get together and meditate to have enlightened politicians? So when we discussed this, we saw that we could extend this project, not only to Argentina, but also to other cities in the United States, and this then would be the Peaceful Cities Project.
Right, yeah.
And make it global.
Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking, we're moving out to the American Peace Project, and she's like, oh no, think global. So we got the Global Peaceful Cities Project lined up right behind us, and that was Karen's inspiration. So, all right, thank you. So understand that we're not just editing for ourselves. Okay, it's not just for ourselves anymore. All right. Okay. Jeez, I didn't finish that. Oh yeah. So just and again, although I just said we're not meditating for ourselves, but let me tell you how great you're going to feel. In the 9/11 study, what they did was they queried both the Eastern and Western participants, and what they found in the study is the Eastern participants reported that 56 felt more optimistic that world peace is achievable. Doesn't that make you feel good? 25% got along with better strangers. On the West, after participating in the study, Western participants reported 70% felt more inner peace, and 56 found changes in their relationships with everyone with whom they came into contact. Bottom line is, what's going to happen is you're going to feel the love, okay? And this was done from her other study with Sri Lanka, which I didn't talk about. In general, participants felt the love. 41% felt more love for anyone with whom they interacted. 25% felt more love for loved ones or people they disliked. 19% got along better with perfect strangers, and 44% noticed changes in relationships, notably between parents and children, in-laws and siblings. So, and just in ending, just in closing, I wanted to kind of like, when you sit there and say, does this really make a difference? Does this really make an impact? Remember before when I was talking about how the mind has an impact, right? So I was just sitting there and thinking about all of me, thinking, oh gosh, is this really working? Think about this. You ever pull up to a stoplight, and you pull up, and then all of a sudden you find your head slowly moving. And what happens? Who can say? Right, your head slowly moving, suddenly you were looking eye to eye with someone, right? And your head slowly moves, and all of a sudden you're looking eye to eye with someone. You realize that that person's been looking at you. Have you noticed that? Right? It's called, how many people have experienced that? Yeah, they say in the 90 percentile, right, over 93 or 94% have experienced that. That we're sitting there all quiet, we suddenly find our head turning and looking straight in the eye of somebody who's looking at us, right? It's repeatable, it's reliable, it's called the sense of being stared at. Rupert Sheldrake wrote a whole book on it, and I happened to come into this because of it. It was actually in the biofeedback research. They even do it where you stare at somebody on a monitor, and they have you in another room. Someone's staring at you on a monitor, and you're hooked up in another room with biofeedback instruments, and your body will register on the biofeedback instruments the arousal of being stared at. So that's how powerful the mind is, right? So wherever the mind lands, there's an impact. So as you're seeing your mind kind of in the Albany streets and seeing light, just remember that. Remember that you're really really doing it. It's not just in your imagination. Okay? So at least that's the best. All right. So will it work? We don't know. We won't know unless we all participate and we all stand up and do this. One thing I do know is that there's a lot of people going to be feeling really fabulous. Okay? Because this stuff works. When you release your heart, it works. And I always say there's nothing to lose except stress, resentments, and unnecessary relationship struggles due to mismanagement of resources. Yeah, right, exactly, right. So I'm hoping that today I just conveyed to you that this isn't just about us here in Albany, that Albany really could inspire people across the globe, the global village. We can, by us coming together, and this table has been set, and we can measure it, but we need to have the people come in and eat and get some of that great soul food, okay? And I guess that's it. Real fast, does anyone, just to let you know, because last year I realized that people didn't quite know, but you all know that starting tomorrow you should all be getting an email that will include a meditation and an interview. So I will tell you that I've been sitting with these meditation leaders. They're all wonderful. They've all just blessed me so much in the period I've spent with them. And so you'll get a little interview with the person, and then there'll be a meditation. Some of the meditations will be video, but most of them will be audio. Okay? So you're just going to click on that and to send us feedback, and if you're, to send us suggestions. Is that it? We got it? All right. Good deal. All right. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Oh, yes. Okay, great. If you don't get the emails, which apparently some people didn't today, you can still go to the website and click, and then you would look under updates. Okay, look under project updates. Eventually, we'll switch over to the 2015 tab. Working on that. All right, thank you.
Okay. Guess what I'm going to say? That was really cool. That was cool. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here that's really cool. We're going to play some more music. During that time, I'm going to ask you to reach into your hearts in another way. All these things that we're doing, all this stuff that we're doing is costly. And we've actually been doing this on a, no budget, right? There's no budget. There is no budget. And one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit about is, what's coming up next year? How are we going to do things differently? How are we going to make sure that this thing has legs for 10 years? If anybody's interested in becoming more a part of the Peace team than you already are just by being here and wants to get involved with us, just look for announcements on in your emails and on the web. We get together, we have a great time. We just really have fun. And we're doing really important work. We are very mindful of the fact that we need to formalize some of our structures, and one of the areas that we need to do that, addressing that, is fundraising. So we are going to pass the basket here today, listen to some great music, and please reach into your hearts, reach into your pocketbooks, support this effort, and we'll be back with some wrap-up right after we finish this little interlude. Thank you very much.
Those of you who haven't been here before, they're down the hall to the left. Right up there.
No, I'm not going to say cross-legged. I'm Jim Fuller. I'm a minister here at the church and also a longtime meditator. And I'm delighted to be here with folks and to be able to share our first of a series of meditations for peace. Peace beginning in ourselves, peace expanding, peace filling our community. So I invite you wherever you are, here with us or at home, wherever you're watching, just to find a comfortable place to sit. Let your body settle into the seat. Let your hands rest in a comfortable position. It doesn't matter how you hold them. Just whatever feels right to you. Let your feet rest comfortably. And when you're ready, just gently allow your eyes to close or your gaze to drift softly downward, unfocused. We'll begin by just allowing ourselves to feel the breath moving in and through the body. Breathe through your nose if you can, or however is comfortable for you. And as we allow the breath to move through our body, just feel the movement, the aliveness of the breath. We allow our breath to lengthen so that the in-breath and the out-breath are smooth, long, not choppy. We feel one breath move gently into the next. And as we do this, we'll probably begin feeling all sorts of little feelings in the body. We feel it in the chair, little thoughts, little sounds, a twinge in the shoulder or something like that. I invite you to continue simply breathing, simply noticing these things and allowing them to be. Don't try to chase anything away. Don't fight with anything. Our goal is simply to be present right here at this moment. To breathe into the moment. And to begin becoming at peace with our own body, with our own thoughts, and just to let them be. And as we allow things to be as they are, you will find yourself relaxing. You'll find the body relaxing. You'll find the mind beginning to slow down. We've heard that the heart is the most powerful electrical signal in the body. Perhaps as you breathe, you will feel the beating of your own heart. So feeling the breath, aware of the beating of your own heart. Allowing the body to settle into the moment. Allowing the mind to be at peace with things exactly as they are in your body, in this chair at this moment. We are now prepared to begin. I invite us to begin by allowing our mind, our attention, to bring forward someone who we feel close to, a loving, peaceful closeness to. Could be someone who's with you now. Could be someone who's passed on, but still lives in your heart. Could be a pet. Allow your mind to focus on that loved one. And remember the sense of appreciation you hold for them in your heart. If you can imagine their face, imagine that. If you can imagine or remember their smile, imagine that. Remember the sense of being with them, what it was like to sit with them, be in their presence. Feel that closeness and those warm feelings of friendship, caring, love. Feel how your body responds as you remember this loved one. Imagine the love in your body radiating out from you to that loved one. Imagine it as a radiant stream of light or illumination moving out from your heart, connecting you to that loved one. Imagine that loved one feeling and receiving love and feelings of care that are radiating from you toward them. Imagine the peace and the well-being that they feel as they feel this being, this radiant light, love and well-being and care coming from your heart to them. See them feeling peaceful, loved, connected. And as we send that love and that peace and that well-being and connection to that person, we imagine the peace and the well-being in our heart expanding, because we are allowing more of that to move through us now. We are consciously allowing peace and well-being, understanding, caring to move through us. now. So we imagine that expanding in us. And we imagine that light, that radiance that moves out from us to that loved one also expanding. Expanding to encompass the people who are present with us wherever we are sitting, in the sanctuary, in the room, in the house where you are. That love and well-being expanding from your heart to encompass all those who are present with you or near you right now. Imagine them receiving that as a radiance moving out from your heart to theirs. A radiance of caring, of well-being, of peacefulness, of connection. Encompassing all those near you. And imagine them receiving that and feeling so at peace, so connected. Now let's expand that vision out beyond the boundaries of the walls of the house or the building where we're seated, into the neighborhood around us, the neighborhood and the community around us. We imagine the people walking down the street, feeling that peace, that caring, that well-being that we send out. And seeing them relax and feel at peace. Feel the appreciation and the connection. We envision that spreading now throughout the city of Albany, the capital district. We imagine this peace radiating to the neighborhoods in northern Albany, all the way up to Cohoes, all the way down through Arbor Hill, all the way down through Clinton Avenue, through the city, the downtown, spreading on to the south end and down below. We imagine that light, that wave of peacefulness moving through the city, through the downtown, through Center Square, out Central Avenue, and out Whitehall Road, up and down various streets, out Western Avenue, spreading and radiating as the light and the peace moving out from us moves out in 360 degrees now, encompassing all of the people, all of the communities around us, out to Gilderman and Schenectady, up to Colony and Latham and beyond, down into New Scotland, over into Rensselaer, radiating out. Just imagine people walking down the street and feeling that peace and smiling and relaxing, and they don't know why. They feel it. And because they feel it, they share it, and they radiate it to the people around them. Envision people seeing one another and smiling and giving a friendly nod, or sharing a friendly hello, waving. Imagine families and homes feeling that peace and looking at one another and feeling appreciation and connection. People in cars feeling the connection with the drivers around them, helping one another to get where they need to go. People in law enforcement, seeing the change in the people around them as the peace spreads, and feeling the peace in their heart, and sharing that with us. people in correctional facilities of all kinds, feeling that peace washing over them, just relaxing for a moment, breathing. People in government, people who work for us as public servants, feeling that and radiating that out from them, extending the peace. Shopkeepers, mothers, cousins, neighbors, feeling the peace radiating out from us as this 360-degree beam of light, and then reacting to it and spreading it. And now imagine that peace extending far beyond the borders of the capital district, moving out through the state, through the nation, across oceans, across lakes, across continents, across nations, enveloping this entire beautiful planet. Peace, connection, community, love, acceptance, appreciation, oneness. Peace extending over all the planet. People everywhere breathing and feeling that. And that feeling growing in them and extending beyond. And we set the intention that this will continue radiating from us for the next day, for the next week. That this will continue radiating through us for the next day, for the next week. And will extend and will cover and blanket our planet and, of course, Albany and the surrounding communities. We see peace increasing 5, 10, 15, 20, 50%. Peace increasing. We are radiating centers of peace. We live in a peaceful Albany. Peace is here now. We set the intention. We set the intention for this to continue. We take a couple of very long, conscious, deep breaths, full breaths, to set that intention in our bodies. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Set the intention. Peaceful Albany. Breathe out. Peaceful Albany. One more time. Breathe all the way in. All the way out. It is done. It is happening. Thank you for participating in our first day.
Thank you, Jeff. We just started. It continues for the next 31 days. And the last thought I'd like to leave you with is that we did this last year. And last year, we crunched the numbers at the end of January, and we found some pretty interesting things. The violent crime indicators that we were seeking to measure, that we were seeking to have an impact on, decreased across the board by 8%. There wasn't a single violent crime indicator that we were looking at that increased at all during the period of time that we were doing this meditation. We believe that's a pretty good start. So we just kick it off again. Stay with us. Stay with us for the next 30 more days. do this every day. You gotta do it. We said pick one of those 3 times, do it 3 times a day. We need dose. That's what we demonstrated. 4,000, lots of deep grace. 500, not so much. So talk to your friends, invite people. I'm going to leave you with 2 final thoughts before we get our last listen from this incredible band. One is a thought, quote from the Dalai Lama. He's been featured pretty prominently here today. And that, one of my favorite quotes is, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. That's what we're doing here today. We're reaping the benefits of our own actions that we know and we believe. We're here today because we believe that action has a benefit to other people. The last thing is one of my favorite quotes from anybody, and it's from Mother Teresa. And it's a little mantra that I think is really relevant to what we're doing today. The quote goes like this: the fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. And the fruit of service is peace. We begin each day, each meditation, going into silence. We send our prayerful intention out from that silence to have the effect that we're looking for in promoting peace in the world. We are doing this because we have the faith that that's a real effect, that we can actually do that. We are sending love with every intention that we send. We're doing a service both to ourselves and to our community. And in that service, our goal and our achievement is peace. Thank you all for being here today.
You guys want to stand up, don't you? Yeah, battery might be already dead, so you're just going to have to hear it acoustically. What if you could really open our hearts back to the world of contemplation I love you? What if we are powerful without peace? What if for a moment I said to see? We might change you want to see the world. We might change you want to see. We might change you want to see the world. We change you want to see. Brothers, sisters, fathers, and mothers, what if we all got together? Took out a moment to agree with each other, so that we could make things better. We can change you want to see the world. We can change you want to see the world. We can change you want to see the world. We can change you want to see. What kind of love is a conscious choice that allows your hurt to pain? So lay down your heart and open up your heart. There's nothing that you have to get. We can change you want to see the world. We can change you want to see.
I will hold you in my heart and surround you with love. I will hold you in my heart in the light where all may die.
I think we're still live.